Welcome to the Musa video blog. Chag Sameach. Happy Sukkahs to you all. And here we are sitting in our Sukkah, the last night. And one of the things our sages tell us is that the Sukkah is a remembrance, a replica of the Ananei Hakavod, the clouds of glory that surrounded the Jews when we were traveling through the desert after we left Egypt. And we were surrounded by clouds on all four sides, top and bottom, and there was a seventh cloud that went in front of us. They're called Ananei Hakavod, clouds of glory. Now I imagine it wasn't just like regular clouds, because imagine if all the time you wake up in the morning and all you see is clouds. I mean, that's kind of overcast, and that creates a kind of gloomy feeling in a person. And these were clouds that were supposed to radiate glory, clouds of glory, God's glory. So I imagine it wasn't just regular clouds, and so we don't know exactly what it was. In any case, sitting in the Sukkah is supposed to bring us to that state as well. Somehow we're sitting here and we have to feel as though we're surrounded by God's glory on all of our sides, sitting in the Sukkah. So, what does that mean? What are we supposed to do with that? First of all, we have to understand that when we were in a desert for those 40 years, we lived in a supernatural state. Many things happened during those 40 years that never happened again. But we were supposed to take the message there and transport it and apply it to everyday life. For example, when we were in the desert, we had the manna came every day. We didn't have to do anything to get our food. That was to drive home the point that our sustenance comes from God. Well, when we entered into the land of Israel, we had to till the soil. We had to work, be merchants, whatever it was. And that's how we got our food. But the message from the 40 years was meant to remain with us, that even though we are now involved in the world, but still it's very clear to us that our sustenance still comes from God. And so too the clouds of glory, although we're no longer surrounded by the clouds of glory, we have to live in the world with that same type of awareness, that wherever we look, we see God's glory. It's something that's worth training ourselves, getting used to the idea. We go outside, we look around, see a tree. That's amazing. We can see God's glory in that. Sometimes we need to go to special places. We go to the mountains, or we go to the oceans, or Niagara Falls, or you have it, and it just strikes us. Or sometimes we look up in the sky and we see a beautiful sunset, a beautiful sunrise, incredible patterns in the sky at night, the stars, and we are filled with a sense of awe. Well, we're supposed to take that and apply it to everyday life. Every day. I get up, I walk outside, I see a tree, I see grass, I see bushes, I see the air, I look in the sky, I see the clouds, whatever it is. These are all manifestations of God's glory. And even more than that, even if we see man-made things, I see a car. Well, where did that car come from? Well, it came from different materials, and where those materials came, everything eventually traces back to the earth, to the atmosphere, but somewhere within our world. And the idea that whatever was necessary to put this car together was really implanted in the world from the days of creation. Really from the inception of the earth, God implanted all these things in the world, and it just took time for us to unlock the mysteries and to discover what was there. But that too, the fact that so much potential lies within the earth, and we're constantly discovering more and more, and we're moving at an accelerated pace in our discovery, and it just gets more and more amazing. What 30, 40 years ago, we had a computer that took up a whole room. Today, on this tiny little thing that I put in my pocket, I have something which is many times more powerful than that huge machine that occupied that room. So that's also worth contemplating, that anything that we have in this world, if it's natural, but even if it's man-made, it's not man-made. Men didn't create it. Men discovered what was already in the world. So that's something that could blow your mind when you think about how much potential there was in creation. So when we're sitting in the Sukkah and we're remembering the clouds of glory, remembering that we lived in a state where we saw God's glory everywhere, we should be trying to do that as well. And the Sukkah should remind us of it, and when Sukkah is over, we should take it with us for the rest of the year, to live godly lives, because we're surrounded, we're enveloped in godliness all the time. Chag Sameach. See you next time.